The Voice 1714.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm your host, Salazar Roy Jr., here with Pastor Christopher Thomas.
Sir, welcome back.
It's The Voice 17104. Well, a lot of things have been going on, folks. Have you been tracking these events here in America? Interesting. I like to start off with my hashtag, Justice for Shanquella Robinson. Trying to have been no new events from what I've seen, and hoping that there will be justice for her and her family. We're going to add another hashtag that happened here most recently, and we had a hashtag for justice for Tyree Nichols. This young brother was beaten to death by the police. I have never seen a video that was released by the Memphis, Tennessee Police Department and in conjunction with the district attorney's office. I don't think I've ever seen a video, and I've been in law enforcement before I retired 35 years. I thought that the video that they released in the George Floyd case was horrible. But this was probably the worst I've ever seen. And I've seen in my tenure some terrible things. And I've never seen anything as bad as this. But being a former law enforcement officer, I've seen some horrific activities committed by the criminal community. But I've worked for some very good law enforcement officers that would have been just as appalled as I was seeing this behavior of men who have sworn to serve and protect, that wasn't serving and protecting anyone the way they did this young man. But putting it mildly, they should have been ashamed of themselves. And like I said, that's putting it mildly. And then after they did what they did to him, rendered no aid, saw that he received no aid, standing around laughing and joking and talking about it. This man is dying before their eyes. Your job was to serve and protect. Did you stop to ask yourself this question? Was what he was doing had he gone to court and been tried, would he have received the death penalty? Would you ask yourself that question? I submit to you, he would not have. Said you stopped him for reckless driving. On the video, the young man asked you, officer, why are you stopping me? From there, this thing went downhill fast. There was no mention if he was intoxicated. There was no mention he had erratic behavior. Reckless driving is what they told the public. How reckless? Did he run somebody over? No. Did he cause property damage? No. All the damage was done to him. The man was pulled out of the vehicle, according to the video camera. Was he frailing about? Was it fighting back, resisting? Cameras didn't show that. But it did show he was in fear for his life. He got up and ran, and you pursued him. What really struck me is that all this conduct was being committed by a specialized unit. No, I understand specialized units. I was part of one. In fact, I was part of several. Who had a specific purpose and a specific concentration. You knew that when they called you in to interview you, then assign you. Because you just don't put in for a specialized unit, they put you on it. No, there's a process. Because the department has to see if you qualify to go on this unit. There's a purpose for this unit. And you may not meet the qualifications of that unit, so therefore they don't assign you. It's like a canine unit. We need X amount of officers to fill the openings on this canine unit. And this is only an example, folks. So you put in for it and you go in and they sit you down with supervisors and other canine unit experts and how to handle this police dog. And if you don't qualify for that, there was a series of questions they asked you. If you were an animal owner, and what you think you could bring to the table in handling this canine officer, this specially trained dog. And if you don't qualify that, you don't get assigned to that unit. Because you got to put time in for the dog. This particular dog is not your pet, he's your partner. Well, I would imagine the same thing occurred for this Scorpion unit here in Memphis, Tennessee, the specialized unit. They were looking for particular character traits, you know, when you were enthusiasm, about being part of this unit, and the qualifications thereof. But I don't think any of those qualifications was, and we chase reckless drivers. The regular patrol officer to do that. And if you have a specific concentration, reckless driving ain't part of it. Was this young man a suspect that came under your purview? Had you been watching him? This young man didn't even have a criminal record. And his athletic pastime was skateboarding. Now, I don't think that came under anybody's purview. But yet this specialized unit had time to, he's reckless driving. Get on the radio and call one of the patrol guys. Say, look, we got a guy came past our area. It probably was an area of concentration for you guys somewhere in the city. I said, look, can you guys check him out for us? Or they're surveilling something right now. We just had it. No, you took time to break away what you were doing to pursue this guy. See, folks, where I'm getting at with this is something else is what's going on here. That probably had nothing to do with policing. Keep watching this story with Tyree. God rest his soul. But there's something wrong here that took this outside of the scope of policing. Why was Tyree really stopped? Why was Tyree pulled from the vehicle violently? Why was Tyree beaten so viciously? What was truly going on here? All the police officers didn't go crazy. Oh, they played their role. But one or two of them really went in, beating him, punching him in the face, kicking him, not acting like law enforcement officers should act. They act like gang members. Thugs with a badge. What are you doing? I'm sitting there as a retired law enforcement officer. What are you doing? But to my surprise, there's other officers that should have stepped in and said, what are you doing, man? But they didn't. Somebody should have said, that's enough, man. What guy not resist? Since the George Floyd case, we're talking about peace and justice for all. That's part of Constitution is sitting in Congress and have been sitting in Congress is the George Floyd Act, waiting on passage by Congress, both the House and the Senate, so President Biden can affix his signature. One part of that George Floyd Act is the duty to intervene. Which the officers failed to do in George Floyd's case, and now in Tyree Nichols' case. The duty to intervene when you see something has violently gone wrong. What did this man do to pose such a greater threat or a great threat to your life and the lives of others? This is when police officers have a duty to intervene for the safety of their life and the lives of the public. Well, do you not also have a duty to intervene in the life of a suspect? You got to understand, when you stopped him, detained him or her, they were in your custody, so you now have a duty to intervene for their safety also. Why? Because they are United States citizens in your custody. From the time that you stop them until the time they are released. So you have a duty to serve and protect this individual also. It is your job. Why? You are a political soldier. Ever hear that term before? Interesting term, isn't it? That's what the police are. Why? Who's in control of the police? The mayor. It was the mayor, the leader of the city. What is the mayor? A politician. Follow that line of thinking now. Who has control over the police? There are three forms of government in the United States. And that goes from the borough council, the borough management of a small jurisdiction, all the way up to the United States Congress. Three forms of government, folks. You have your judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative branch. Well, which one of those branches of government do the police and law enforcement fall under? Most of you will say the judicial. Why? Because the police is the courts, and that, no, they don't. Surprise, they don't. They don't fall under the judicial branch. Well, say, well, who do the police fall under? Oh, I know. You think you got it now when you say the legislative branch. Why? Because the laws, they make the laws, don't they? And you would be wrong there too. Well, the police don't fall under the legislative act. No. Why? Well, because we have somebody to control the police. That wouldn't be a legislative. Yeah, excuse me. That wouldn't be a legislative branch or your judicial branch. Got it now? People that control law enforcement is the executive branch. Right. That makes them political soldiers. Mm-hmm. There's where the control is. That's why you have those who protest and they appeal to those executives. The executive branch then appeals to the legislative branch to say, look, we need to have some more control here. And the executive branch must now convince the legislative branch that what they are proposing should come about. And then it is reviewed by those legislators, male or female, that hold those seats, either on the council, or the state legislative body, or the United States Congress. Say, let's review this and see what they're asking for. And there it is. Under the George Floyd Act, the duty to intervene, and that's only part of it. But it's a very big part of it, and a dutifully necessary part of it, that it goes with the oath you have taken. Is it right that the police chief and the district attorney's office review these cameras from every angle? Because I sure did. And I couldn't, and the camera on the pole is what really got you. Not so much the webcam you wear on yourself. That one on the pole caught you from every angle, kicking, punching, and stomping. The police now. I don't think I've ever been up on. I've been in some struggles in my career. But those were people that were fighting me and fighting us. I don't think I ever been involved in a situation where a guy wasn't fighting and we were fighting him. No, not the way it works. There's laws against that. But that was horrific. The man, just like George Floyd, he calling for his mama. You call for your mother for somebody to protect you if the people around you are not. And that was sad. And he was one of the good guys. There wasn't nothing, he didn't have no reputation of being the bad guy in the neighborhood or nowhere. It's a Tyree. Nichols, the thugs couldn't understand. They beat up Tyree. He's a good dude. Anytime you got the criminal element shocked, well, you know the good people are going to be shocked. What in the world could Tyree have done? You made the dude with the skateboard? You know how we talk in our community. Yeah, dude in it with the skateboard. They killed him. Beat him to death. That's why I say there's something more to this, folks. And keep tracking this case. And keep tracking to see what Congress does with the George Floyd Act. Track that too. Write your congressman. Shut up. You need to be busy on the House floor trying to get this passed. Not only write your congressman, write Senator Booker. Write your House Minority Speaker, Hakeem Jeffries. Write him. On, I think you heard what the vice president said at the funeral. Jesus, the funeral howling screaming about the injustice done to this young man. Get behind her. You all used to be in the Congress. Well, Cory Booker's still there. Hakeem Jeffries is now the minority speaker of the House. Only because Democrats is the minority now by like 4 votes or so, or something like that. So the Republicans don't have solid majority in the House. They have the majority, not the solid majority. We got to get busy doing a duty to intervene when a violent and or criminal act is being committed. It's anyone. Especially the police. They witness that another police officer has gone above and beyond and in clear violation of his duty to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and the citizens therein. Come on, folks. It's time for this abuse of power to stop. When they should have been carrying that sort of conduct out, they didn't. And that was on January 6, 2021. There's where you should have went crazy. And exercise your duty to protect. Your duty, and yeah. And I can't say all police officers didn't, and they didn't, but you had a right to defend the Constitution of the United States. And did anything to do so, including deadly force. One officer did, and I'm very proud of him. They were attacking the United States. They was attacking Congress. They were attacking senators. They tried to overthrow the government of the United States. You should have been going crazy out there. to defend this country. The Constitution, the oath you take, told you had every right to do it. You defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign or domestic. Did you get the domestic part? Foreign or domestic. They were attacking the government of the United States. Every police officer in this country should have been trying to make their way to DC to take care of that problem. Of course, you leave a few officers back to take care of your local jurisdiction, but everybody else should have been on a plane, bus, or train. Not to mention every National Guard's troop in this country should have been on alert. Your country was under attack. I don't know what part of that you missed. I was laying in the hospital bed looking at that and saying, what is this foolishness? Take care of that immediately. This is treason. Committing a treasonous act at the capital of the United States. As far as I'm concerned, it was consecrated ground. It says, in God we trust. Oh, yeah. And you had this satanic imp, Donald Trump, had you going crazy. He was under the control of the devil. Well, you know he's a liar, telling you can overthrow the government. Go on up here. The police should have been given on the wrath of God. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. That doesn't belong to Satan. So I ask that you keep track of this story. See where it fits in. Keep pushing with the passage of the George Floyd Act and demand justice for your fellow man. You may be next. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Come on back next week to share a little time here at Rick's Place with me and Pastor Thomas. We'll see you then.
Take it.